to finally be able to sort of come out in the open and start engaging with you all. I must say it's the first time I've done something like this, so a bit nervous. But yeah, so I'm the founder, and my two co-founders are here as well, Thomas and Lucas, who also happen to be my family members. So Lucas is my brother, and Thomas is my father, or our father. So this is a small family venture on the co-founding team, which is really exciting, and yeah, it's been a great journey so far. So yeah, a little bit about myself. I have a background in entrepreneurship and finance, and I've held, since graduating university a few years ago, I've held some various roles in a VC fund, and then across a bunch of startups in different industries, ranging from Web3 to marketplace SaaS, and then in biotech as well, and climate tech more recently as well. So that's a short intro on me, and then I can pass it on to Lucas, perhaps.
Yeah, hi everyone. Exciting to do this. Excited to see you all here. I'm Lucas, Tim's brother, Thomas's son as well. And yeah, my background is kind of in computer science and neuroscience. I'm still studying at university, graduating in a month. Whole life been big into tech, science, things like that. I think my first book I read when I was 2 or 3 was a little pocket book of experiments I stole from Tim's room. And so since then, I've really been captivated by it, always been interested by it. And a couple years ago, Tim and I started a bit tensor mining thing, which kind of got us focused in AI. And since then, I've just been working on things on the side, little projects, seeing where we can make a difference, until we came across this, which I think, we're all really, really excited to bring something amazing to you guys. And then, yeah, I'll pass it on to Thomas.
Hi, everyone. I'm Thomas. So my background is more in being a serial founder. From almost my career, I've been building businesses, selling them, creating new categories, starting things from scratch, and also mostly starting things in which I had no prior experience, but they intrigued me because of the impact they would have on people and on the world itself. So I'm probably the least experienced in terms of the tech side on this team, but I do know how to build businesses. I know how to build organizations, and my role is to resource and build processes and systems and organization that is fit to scale in the way we see ourselves scale. I'm also very much involved in strategy and the vision of the company. Great to be here.
Thanks, Thomas. Shall we move to Arman?
Hello. I hope my mic is on. So this is Arman, joining in from Berlin, Germany, the sunny place in the world. I am the CTO here at OpenServ. I have an extensive background in technology and ventures. I'm an entrepreneur with 8 companies behind me that I have started, 10, 15 different ventures. I happen to hold a master's degree in signals processing, which was the name before machine learning, which was the name before AI. So I did a degree on brain signals processing 15 years ago to come up with a system that lets people type with their brain signals, something Elon Musk announced last week, I guess. But I have tweets from 2010 where I type with my brain signals. So, it's a lot there. And I've been working on AI for a very long time. And since last year, I've been building products here and there, large enterprise products, small startups, small ideas with AI. And yeah, I'm now leading our teams, our engineering team, our product team at OpenServ to what is the language here? Can I say kick some A?
Yeah, go for it. It can be casual.
Yeah, we're here to kick some ass, and we have a lot of opinions, ideas, a lot of prototypes, a lot of working platforms that we already built at OpenServ that we've been dying to share with you for some time. And yeah, I'm very, very excited to be here. Unfortunately, I'm not one of the family. So Thomas is not my father, but I actually got to like him as one in this little time we have had so far. So I'm very happy to be part of the OpenServ family. Let's say with my mascot over here, please say, yeah. No. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I'm also a teacher. I teach software engineering, and I lead teams. That's what I do.
Great, thanks, Aman.
Awesome. Thanks, Oman.
We'll head back to Tim
Sorry.
just to talk a little bit about how we got here, and what we're doing today.
Yeah, so would love to talk about our journey. It's been a wild journey. I'd say it started in reality 2 years ago when Lucas and I set up this BitTensor mining venture. And during that process, we realized, and so I'm sort of the crypto native one here, other than Mark. So I've just been investing on my own behalf for a number of years since 2017, and just been a lurker and an observer of the market, and just trying to think through different things. And we eventually, started this BitTensor mining company, and through that process, we came to realize that in this space and in AI itself, there's a ton of opportunity that are guarded by high technical barriers. So BitTensor mining itself was incredibly lucrative, and still is, but has pretty high technical barriers for someone who doesn't know what they're doing. I mean, for someone who does know what they're doing, I'd say it's pretty simple, but for someone who doesn't, it's almost impossible. I mean, BitTensor itself took me weeks to really wrap my head around all the nuances, and everything that goes into what it is. And so we started to think, like, how can we, and that's not only the case for BitTensor, that's the case for the entire Web3 space. There's just so many complicated things, complicated terminology, and complicated technology that is difficult to understand and difficult to use. So we started trying to think through problems, and how we could bring simplicity to these areas of complexity. And that started obviously with the mining venture, and we were like, hey, crypto mining is pretty lucrative for those who figure out how to do it. If you can find these early coins before they grow, you can capture a fairly large percent of the emissions. And over time, as the token grows in value, you can make a lot of money. Yet it's pretty prohibitive, and inaccessible for most people. So our first idea was to basically do like a cloud mining platform where we would essentially aggregate different compute providers, and deliver it in a super simple front end that users could basically browse from a number of early. Obviously, we wouldn't put Bitcoin on there because it's not super profitable these days anymore, unless you have sort of large scale servers at your disposal. But if we had, a selection of early coins that hadn't really grown yet, and users could, in a few clicks, basically just spin up an instance, and start mining these coins. And that was a bit of the start of the journey. After going down that rabbit hole for a bit, we realized the economics didn't really work out, the numbers didn't really work out. We had to aggregate way too many different compute providers in order to scale. So then we thought, okay, how can we apply this same thinking towards something else? So trying to bring simplicity to something that's complex and hard to use and hard to understand. And being in the crypto AI intersection, started looking at a number of different things and got into autonomous agents, and started looking at that landscape in the Web3 autonomous agent space and in the Web2 autonomous agent space, and saw a similar thing. Lots of great, really exciting, cool things being built, but incredibly technically intensive, to understand and use and to wrap our heads around. I mean, we were reading some of these early white papers from some of these AI projects, and they were just, really difficult to get our heads around. And in doing that, we saw an opportunity there. One, to bring simplicity to an inherently complex technology, and two, because it was so complex, because the landscape was so complex, the sort of developer or the architecture and system side was being filled, but the demand side hadn't been filled at all. Like there's very few users for this technology at the moment. And that kind of sprouted the idea to basically become the sort of aggregate all these difficult elements that go into building and enabling the collaboration of different AI agents, and abstracting it all into a really simple and intuitive UI that a user, someone who uses ChatGPT, someone who knows how to use an iPhone, and a laptop, but not much more than that, someone, so basically a UI that type of person would be able to use easily, and something that they're familiar with. And so that's kind of how the idea was born. That was around, I'd say, September last year. So then we spent a few months obviously getting all our thoughts down on paper and downloading all our thinking around it. And that led us into, hopefully a few of you early guys are here, led us into launching our Twitter and Discord in early December, and then leading into our fundraise in early January, or just over New Year's. At the time, it was just us three as co-founders, and we basically, as we didn't have the sort of AI expertise in-house, we needed to fundraise in order to find the right expertise. And proof of that is we have Arman here today, and he's amazing. I'm sure you'll come to realize that as we do more of these calls as well. So that took us into our fundraising over New Year's, and since then we've just been going at it, setting up the entire business and everything that comes with that. I mean, there's a lot of components to building a real business that is set up to scale. You know, we're not just creating some small thing here. We're setting something up to scale into the big leagues, and that requires a lot of work. And so we've been doing that. We've been hiring aggressively, and we've been developing aggressively already. And the amount we've been working has gotten us a long ways already. I think we're already far ahead of schedule than what we were hoping, which is super, super exciting to see where we were 2.5 months ago and where we are now. Is, yeah, especially having, been there at the very start, at the birth of this idea, and at the real seed stage of this, and now seeing to what it's already become so quick has been amazing. So I guess I'll hand over. That's how we got here, and I'll hand over to Arman to speak about where we are on the technological front and where we're going.
Thank you very much. This is very exciting. So where are we? Where is the industry in this thing, in AI? What are we doing as humans to interact with AI? And there are really big questions that we need to answer before we can get into any technical details, like what's our future going to look like? The human AI collaboration, it's here to stay. Will it take our jobs? Will it replace us? How are we going to use it? Is it going to destroy us? There are a lot of questions that we need to answer. And here's the thing. Everything about this is about humans. This is not some kind of crazy technology that's complicated, that is like hard to discern. That's something that's going to, that's not going to serve us. What we have to do, especially us technical people, we have to make it understandable, reasonable, approachable to regular people, and help them get the helm of AI, help them steer their lives in collaboration, in conjunction with AI. So we've been thinking a lot about how collaboration could work. What does that mean? What is an agent? What is intelligence? What is an AI agent? What is autonomy? How much autonomy do humans have? How much autonomy should agents have? How do you join as a stakeholder, as an owner? How do you work with this team? What does it mean to own a team of AI agents? What does that collaboration look like? How do you communicate with agents? How do they communicate with one another? One example, something that I really like to use, we are using English or whatever human language is to communicate, right? And that has been the mode of communication with AI so far, between humans and AI. Of course, like we use the languages that we know. But is it the most efficient language? Especially for machine-to-machine collaboration, can they come up with something else, a different language that no one speaks, but they do, they understand, that increases their efficiency? So my job here is to come up with these questions and reasonable answers to those questions through technology, and to build a platform that will enable or catalyze human autonomy. So what we have done so far in terms of technology is we created two different frameworks. One is a machine-to-machine collaboration framework that any agent out there in the world, because we know we're not the only company out there who is building autonomous agents, any agent out there in the world can tap into to become part of our ecosystem, our platform, and a reasoning cognition framework to imbue some more intelligence into these autonomous AI agents. Because if you have used ChatGPT so far, you know it's not the smartest out there, and it requires a lot of coaching, a lot of guidance, and you are practically like begging it to work and to give you the output. That's not the future. That's not autonomy at all. So what needs to happen is you join a team of agents as a stakeholder, and you should be involved in the day-to-day operations of your agent team as necessary, but not more. You should not be in the driving seat. You should have an assistant, a project manager, to take care of practically setting up the project for you. So what we have done is to come up with these frameworks first. How do we enable machines to collaborate with one another in an autonomous way? And then we built several agents on top that can do research on their own, that can write code, that can analyze data, that can write reports, that can generate images, audio in a meaningful way, and a couple of agents to coordinate this work from project management to quality assurance, and an account manager that will talk to you when something is not right, when something needs your input. These agents have been using a file system. So they have, imagine like Google Drive, right? How does human collaboration work? Let's think of that. What do we do as humans, human teams, to collaborate? We use task management. We use some sort of file sharing system. We have emails or messaging, right? Very natural tools. So then it's only natural that a team of AI agents would have access to such tools. And that's practically the environment that we have built. And again, I'm dying to show to you everything we've built so far. It's extremely exciting. Just today, we have the first stable build of our platform internally that we're able to, I don't know, like give some task. And then we see AI agents buzzing on their own without our intervention to create something of value. Because in the end, we're doing this to provide more value to humans, to free them from 9 to 5, free them from the shackles of the current economy and means of creating value. So this is a area of research for us, not only in technology, but also in social sciences, in psychology. And I'm trying to fuel this innovation from a technological standpoint to make sure that we deliver on our promise of autonomy for humans through autonomy of AI agents. I don't know. Is that a good intro?
Yes, thanks, Arman. Thank you. And it's, yeah, I mean, this started off as a simple idea of and it is at its core, it is still a simple idea. But it started off as just a marketplace. We're going to build a marketplace for autonomous agents, and that has now expanded into thinking about, okay, what needs to happen in order to enable a marketplace. You know, we're talking about enabling any agent from any framework to collaborate with each other. How do we let that happen? How do we enable these sort of human-like collaboration traits? How can we imbue that and translate that into a digital experience? And so something that started off as we're just building a marketplace for autonomous agents has now turned into a whole number of different layers that work in tandem with each other, that all sort of come together to finalize at this marketplace layer where developers can upload and sort of monetize their creations, and then users can access them through our workspace and UI.
I think we had a question. When you say a marketplace, will this be similar to Fetch AI? Arman, I don't know if you want to touch on that.
It's very interesting. Fetch AI has a couple of really interesting points that they have developed. In a sense, yes, it's a marketplace for you to find agents and work with them. And what we are trying to bring to this space is an understanding of user experience. This platform that we're building should be accessible to everyone. We're building also agents to help you out through the form, like whatever you need, whatever action you need to take. Do you know which agents you want to work with? Like seeing a list of agents, that's great, but like, how are you going to get value out of it? How are you going to put them into teams? And that is practically what we're focusing on. Not a single agent, but a team of agents, 5, 6, 7 agents working in tandem on a given task, on a given project, for not immediate answers, but continuous value creation. And imagine something like managing your social media presence for a company, managing your ads, your campaigns, managing your investment portfolio. These are ongoing jobs that need to be taken care of. Reporting the news or aggregating the news and so on. Like there are like countless use cases out there. Whatever you use a human team for, you should be able to use an AI team. And that is the area of focus for us. So it's a collaboration of multiple agents. That's, I think, one core difference that we're aiming to bring to the market.
And by having this collaboration framework underpin everything, we can enable this. Yeah, we can enable a state where any agent from any source or framework can collaborate with each other. And what that allows is, instead of us just developing our own agents and then you can individually engage with an agent on a one-on-one, you can configure teams of agents that come from developers all around the world, and you can configure a team of the best agents for each specific use case. And it doesn't matter how they've been developed, where they've come from. So, if you want to put a team together, you can get the best copywriting agent, you can get the best research agent, you can get the best programming agent in whatever language you prefer, etc., etc., etc. And you can combine them to basically perform increasingly complex tasks as you would, opposed to just interacting with a single agent. So
Yep.
I'd say that's our answer to that.
But we
And-
will also build our own agents, for maximum value for the company. And as we go along, we will expand our ecosystem into a B2B play and have specialized agents, highly specialized and customized agents for certain use cases. So this is just a start. There's a much larger vision in play here.
And obviously, the goal is to let these agents work with you wherever you are. Right now, we're building our own proprietary platform, but as human teams, they work with all kinds of different tools that are out there in the market. So we're also going to be building an integration layer where we integrate into the tools that we're using daily in your rely on our platform to do your work. If you're using Google Drive, we should be there. If you're using Trello for task management, we should be there. If you're using Slack for communication, we should be there. If you're using Canva, Figma for designs, we should be there. And we should be able to tap into whatever you're doing there and kind of like merge these two worlds, the human world and the AI world. And there are a lot of like different questions, topics that we need to answer in this. And I'm, looking forward to sharing more of how we're thinking of the like philosophy behind this entire thing with you.
And to address Master Ugwe, hope I say that right, your second follow-up question. So there's two separate things. So one is, as a user, you can basically select different agents from the marketplace and then put them together in a team, and then you can interact with that team to basically accomplish whatever task you set it. And that would be thing that's sort of the main value point and the main user experience is that's where it would come into play, where you would basically configure this team together, and that would be very simple. That's sort of the main product that we're showcasing and that we're delivering, is that you as a noob, self-proclaimed noob, would be very easily able to configure a team and interact with it and get it to do what you want, and you wouldn't require any technical expertise to do so. But we're also building a sort of an in-house agent builder. So a developer doesn't have to go and use some other framework. They could use our own in-house framework, and it would be in a sort of low-code building environment. We're not saying no code, because no code, I think Arman can maybe touch on that a bit more, but no code doesn't really exist. It's a bit of smoke and mirrors. People say no code, but in reality, it's not no code, and you actually have to hire someone who knows what they're doing to get your job done. So it's low code, still would require some technical skills. I think the technology isn't really there yet in to have a no code agent builder yet, at least one that's like good. Obviously, like, sure, we can make one, but is it going to be good? Is it going to be able to deliver value? So those are two separate things. One is the agent builder, which developers can leverage so they can build agents with their own framework and just instantly monetize them on our platform. And then you as a user can basically just select like any number of agents from the marketplace and then configure them into a team and then interact with them and engage with them to get what you want from them. And
there are a lot of different avenues that we're exploring here for value creation. Even though you're not a developer, what ways can we give you to monetize your creations? Because team building is also extremely valuable in real life as well as in AI as well. Like finding the right group of agents and setting them up with the right mindset. And these are keywords that appear in our platform: reasoning, common sense, insights, memory, mindset. These are parts of our cognition framework that we're working on. Maybe without writing a system prompt, maybe without being a developer, without writing code, you should be still able to create value for yourself on our platform by bringing together the best team of agents or customizing them into recipes to share it with the world. We have a lot of ideas that we're experimenting with in this space as well.
Yeah, and to address Potato's question, how are you guys different from OLAS in the simplest way possible? OLAS is like a framework to build these kind of co-owned agents. It's a new way to build agents, a new idea around it. Now, the difference between us and them is they kind of are focusing on that very basic layer, whereas for us, the focus is more about getting those agents built on frameworks like OLAS or other frameworks, trying to get that to you as an end user in the simplest, most convenient way possible. In a modular, like Master Uwe mentioned, he said something about, is our platform kind of like Lego for AI agents? Yes, I think that would be the goal, right? You can mix and match. You can look at already preset configurations of, Legos, so to speak. So yeah, I think we see ourselves as an end-to-end solution to bring the tools created by frameworks created on frameworks like OLAS to the end user, and add a whole lot of value in terms of simplifying agent creation, simplifying access to these different agents, putting them together. Yeah, I think that's. And if anyone wants to add.
As another follow-up to have an attempt at making this as simple as possible, imagine a town square. Go back to the Roman Empire. Imagine a town square, and each of the marble blocks that make up the town square are different agent frameworks like OLAS, like Meta GPT, like Morpheus, etc., etc., etc. And then we essentially come and provide the infrastructure for a marketplace to sit on top of that, where economic transactions can take place on top of these different agent frameworks. Yeah.
Yeah. Or Armand, did you want to add something?
Yep. I want to go back to like being dead simple to use. All of these frameworks, all of these infrastructure right now require a PhD. That's not accessible by the common people, and that's not a good business strategy. That's not going to scale, and we're here to solve that problem. like bring this in a way that is very simple to create value, because you're going to invest. Like, we want people to invest in this, real human beings, real money to invest in this thing. They need to know that they're going to get great results out of it. And like, you can try once or twice to get some good results, but if it doesn't work, if you cannot interact with an agent or the quality is below par, you're going to stop using that platform, provided that you manage to get in the first place. So what we're trying to do here is to bridge that gap, and that only comes with great user experience. And we've been working really hard internally on like many different iterations of how the marketplace could look like. What is the easiest way for any person to get started? What does collaboration look like with AI agents? How are we going to keep the people in the loop, in the know? And most importantly, what are we going to do to let them trust AI, trust the output of these agents? Because we have a very different economic value in mind when we're talking about AI agents. It's not like your regular $10 per month subscription. This is going to be a life-changing experience for the users. And of course, it's going to be priced accordingly. And for that, a lot of trust has to happen. So one of our key concepts is to build that layer of trust with the users. And everything we've been building is like looking at this problem from this perspective. Not only technically, hey, we got it done, but also more like this is something people would feel comfortable to use, if that makes sense.
And to address your question, Potato, so think about your average person in the world who knows how to use a laptop, perhaps is internet native, and they want to wield AI. One, they're not going to know about many of these different agent platforms or frameworks, so they're not going to know about Morpheus unless they really spend a lot of time digging into what's out there. So they're not going to know about them, they're not going to want to know about them, and they're not going to need to know about them. So what we're doing is basically abstracting all of those requirements away and abstracting all of this into a single endpoint where the user wants to get something done, and they can basically configure a team of whatever agents that are out there. It doesn't matter whether they're from Morpheus or OLAS or MetaGPT or AutoGPT or ChatDev or Crew AI or any number of these frameworks. It doesn't matter because they don't need to know. All they need to know is what they can do, and then they can put them together into a team and then have them work together in order to execute some grander task than what any agent could do by itself. And by enabling that, you can essentially, we're essentially enabling the best agents from each of these different frameworks to come together and become accessible to people without all the complexity that would normally be required to access them. And we're just abstracting it all into a single endpoint for the user. Yeah. So yes, correct. Yeah, Master Uwe, you would say that that's a good way of framing it. Yeah.
But we're focusing very much on quality, so there will be definitely a screening of the agents and making sure that we are known for quality, that you come to us and don't have to go through, does this one work, and figure out it doesn't really work down the road. But we come to us and you know that it has been screened, it has been vetted by the community, and it's a place where, as I said, where quality happens.
And quickly to address a couple of things. So one, the partnerships, that's 100% something we're exploring. I say right now we haven't made any specific partnerships yet because we've been so focused on getting the team in place, getting the build out. But 100% we're going to pursue strategic partnerships because I think, as we all know, any organization thrives if through a good network of partnerships. And then the way you said the App Store for AI agents, I think that's actually a really nice way to look at it. I think from a number of different points. I think if you look back to, or the similarity we see is you look back to mobile phone usage before the App Store, right? Mobile phones have been out for a long time, but for a long time they were kind of bare bones, kind of basic, and the ability to create these cool apps, things like that, it wasn't accessible because there was no infrastructure, and you had the entire landscape changed when the App Store came out, because all of a sudden there was an easy way for developers to create apps, upload them on the store, and have instant access to a whole wide range of users. And we see this, obviously it's not 100% the same comparison, but we see this as a similarity in that we feel like AI is this ridiculously powerful technology, just like the mobile phone was, and that can revolutionize the world in the same way the mobile phone did. But there's no clear centralized infrastructure that can allow kind of this value creation to happen, that can allow developers to be connected to users. And I think that's really our thesis, is to kind of create that foundation layer that allows this space to really grow into what we think it can be.
What we're building is the springboard for both the technology and for the industry and for the industry itself, and the springboard for us as a company as well, and for people to use this to bring it to a wide audience and have this as the App Store was for the iPhone. That's a good comparison. Yeah.
Yeah, if you look back in time, what really catalyzes industries, it's making it accessible to as many people as possible, and that is the crux of what we're trying to solve here. Who is your biggest competition? Armand, do you want to perhaps address this one? Yes, we will, of course, always be honest. That is something we really want to carry through with us. We know it's not something that's a given in this space, but we really want to lead with a level of integrity and transparency that is not easy to find, and we hope that shines through as we continue our journey and our engagement with everyone. So just a little note on that, because you added it as a special little add-on there.
So this question is very difficult for me to answer. I don't know if being blunt is also a part of being honest. Look at my track record. Look at my papers that I published around 2010. I didn't have any competition in the academic space when it came to brain signals processing. And I did that by making sure that I'm the best, that I deliver the best results out there, and I smoke people out of water in an academic field that is highly competitive. So that's how I like to play. And this is why I took up this role at OpenServ, to do it again after 15 years. So if you look at the market, it is very apparent that there are a lot of players here with a lot of money, VC-backed, private funds, crypto space. And of course, like, we've been doing our homework in the past. Like, every day we're looking into multiple projects, analyzing their white papers, looking at where they succeed, where they fail. And we're also dying to see something that's working, something that's delivering value out there. And the perspective that I bring here, again, is simplicity for regular human beings. In that regard, I don't see a lot of competition. Like, admittedly, we also don't have our platform published yet, but we just started out. And like, every now and then we hear projects that are like Olas Network. They have a lot of agents. Fetch AI, they have a lot of agents, right? And one could say that they're active right now, but are they really? How many people, like, just go out on the street and ask 100 people, how many of them know about them? How many of them can use them? Like, give them a computer, give them a mobile phone. Can they use those platforms to create value? And again, we have a lot of competition in funding from big companies, big sources, and we know that what we have to create has to be remarkable to cut through the BS. And in that regard, we're working really hard in releasing the first alpha version of our platform. I think it's also safe to say in the coming weeks, we will open up the very early previews of our technology to a select group of users to see how they interact with it. But the challenge is that we have to deliver way more. Like, there are teams out there doing this with teams of 50 people, 50 engineers. And admittedly, we're a small team. we're growing, but we also, that's also why we're gonna fundraise soon to be able to scale our operations, because we have big aspirations. And so I don't know, it's really tough for me to answer. Like, being brutally honest, we're better because we're coming from an actual research, academic, and economic background, leading multiple companies, startups, working with AI, multiple tools out there already built. And what I can say honestly, we are always thinking for the marriage between technology and human consciousness and human experience. We're never letting humans slip off the perspective, the view, and that is why I think we're better than most people out there. This is not a technical project only. It's going to deliver the best tech out there, of course, but the human element in it is where we specialize, I think, if that makes sense.
I think if I just want to add to that, I mean, in the several decades that I've built businesses, I've seen the competition, but I've always been in markets, either created those markets or shaped those markets, or they were sufficiently big for many players to coexist. But we have always succeeded not in going head on with that competition, but creating our own playground, and have succeeded because we've out-innovated the big guys, and we've out-muscled all the other bullshitters. So, and I think that's really what we're doing here too.
And what we're doing is unique because so yes, there's a lot of people trying to build AI agents at the moment, and if you look at most of what you'd call the competition in this industry, it's startups fighting to create a better agent than the next competitor, and have a better suite of agents available for their users. And we're basically building a layer under that where we can swallow everything. And any agent built on whatever platform, it doesn't matter what it is, it can live and exist on our layer. And the people who use those other products, they can still use them. They'll still exist, but they can then take what they've built there and then monetize it on our platform as well. And it can live in these multiple environments at once.
And so, for example, speaking about Dane, like, I don't even know how it's pronounced. I think Dane is fine. It's a very impressive project. But here's the challenge. And I'm going to put it out there again, like, bluntly. This is an unsolved problem. How is this going to work on chain with like utilizing the world's resources in a meaningful way to create actual economic value for regular users? Not only for investment purposes, not only good when the price is going up kind of mechanism, but long-term sustainable value creation. And I'm using this term because what we want to do is to give you tools that you can use in your daily lives. And it's not necessarily monetary value only. So how do you do this in a distributed way? Keeping it private, like respecting the privacy of your users. The solutions that are on the market right now are practically theoretical, not even like implemented, not even practical for daily use of hundreds of millions of people. So we are very cognizant of where we are, where the industry is, and we want to release our technology soon so that everyone can make use of it and benefit it in the most sustainable way for the planet, for the ecosystem. And I'm very honored to be in this team with Thomas, who has practically spent a lifetime in contributing a better use of our resources on this planet. So, like, we have a very different take, a very different understanding of value, what value means, and where we should be in that picture. And there are a lot, like, we could throw a lot of keywords, buzzwords. We could create a lot of hype. But I'm not that person. We're not that team. We are real people focusing on delivering real value as soon as possible, if not today. So of course, we're going to evolve where technological advancements are out there, and we also have a track record of doing so. But I like what Thomas has said, creating markets of our own. That's why it's very difficult to compare what we're building to others, because we try to stay down to earth, and not give you, sell you any dreams.
Yeah, and just to really take just a small add-on, take a human approach to this. We may not have 15 PhDs on our team, but what we do have is a high level of emotional intelligence and empathy, and the ability to put ourselves in other people's shoes and think about this from a real user experience and real user side, and think through every step of the way, because every button on every platform has an implication for the user experience, and how can we make this as easy and simple to use for people as possible, because that's how we're going to access this market. Like, so is Dane and stuff competition, we're going to have a big congregation of all types of agents that are from Web3 agents to Web2 agents, and they can interact with each other. So this is going to go far beyond just Web3 use cases. This is going to go into the mainstream, and this is going to be for anyone to use, and doesn't require a bull run or crypto price going up for it to be used. This is going to be a sustainable venture that targets the world, and not just a very small subset of people. And the way to do that is by delivering something human, something usable, something relatable. And that's kind of the approach we're taking here.
And
Cool.
I think with the important question, will the token moon? Tim, do you want to?
Will the token moon? Well, I don't know if I want to comment on that specifically. So we're already running out of time. We'll obviously be having more of these, because we can speak on a lot more detail on many of these topics. But we're also coming out with a totally new website and new white paper as well, which will address many of these new nice potato, many of these questions as well. So yeah, sorry, I'm just cognizant. We're running out of time. But we have your native payment system. Yeah, so the payment system will essentially be run on a credit, like an in-platform credit system, where users essentially prepay for a credit that sits on the platform, and you can basically a user can buy credits with either a regular credit card through some payment provider like Stripe, or they can connect their Web3 wallet and pay with crypto to buy these in-store, to buy these credits. And these credits are they're the same across the whole platform. There's no differentiation between them. There's just the OpenServ credit, and then you can basically spend them as you like. So yes, so we're running out of time. So I guess I'll hand over to Mark to talk a bit about our community, and what some plans are there, because that's something we really want to focus on and cultivate here, because what we're doing is we're not building some boring enterprise B2B SaaS solution. We're building something that delivers real value to real people, and has the potential to really change people's lives, not some business application. And as such, we see, and this is fed into why we've gone down this token funding route, is because it uniquely enables us to build a community around what we're building. And as such, that's something we really want to spend a lot of effort growing and cultivating and forming a relationship with you all. And that goes beyond just, hopefully goes beyond just names behind the screen, but getting to know you all really on a personal level, and creating something together, and forming a synergistic relationship rather than us and them. So hence we've brought on someone who is highly experienced in community building. He's been building communities in Web3 and Web2. I think he was very humble, but he's managed some top communities for some top celebrities and people, or whatever, people of interest in the world. So I guess we'll hand over to Mark to talk a bit about, and sort of the cradle of this community is obviously going to live on something like Discord here. So I guess we'll hand over. Yeah, I want to hand over to Mark to talk a little bit about those plans.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. So essentially, this project has one big focus. You would have heard that a lot from Arman already, that it's all about human collaboration and its application towards AI. And for that, we need humans that collaborate. And I think Discord is the place to be for that. I think that's the reason we're having the call here, given with the crypto token and fundraising and moving forward with the token being a way of putting proposals forward. We definitely need something that is a good central place for discussion where everybody has a voice. We can segment different conversations properly. And as I said in my intro, I'm the community lead here at OpenServ. Some people who are coming from the crypto space may understand what that involves. I think some other people will have no idea what that actually means, and it's just some words. So I'm essentially here to ensure that everybody in this space has what they need, whether you're a developer looking to collaborate or a fan of the technology or a crypto investor just looking for the token to moon. Essentially, everybody has a space here, and I'm here to build that. So I'm here to set up calls like this and manage them. I'm here to manage the whole Discord, actually. You'll notice that we don't have that many channels at the moment. There are many that have been built and you just can't see them right below these channels. We're building quite a few things in the background. A few of them are for the more developer-focused collaboration, so that can be forums based on different types of builds and what we're developing. So I saw, was it Storm earlier? Can't remember the name. I'd have to scroll up. Yep, Storm said they were trying out 8 different ChatGPT plugins to try and get a task done and still couldn't manage it. I think people like you, this will be a very good space. I think the more conversations we can have together, getting as many people connected, the better. I think we can really build some cool stuff, which is what we're all here for. We are also building in the background some leveling systems in the server, some activity-based rewards, some cool like economy-based games. We're building a counting system with separate rewards and roles and that sort of thing. We have quite a lot on the way. I'm also here to pester the developers. They won't like me for it, but I'm here to pester them for the proper documentation. I'm here to make sure everything is as accessible and available to everybody here, whether you're buying the token and wanting it to moon or whether you're wanting to build and make something happen. It's really no difference. I'm here for everybody. So you'll see me in the Discord channels answering questions. I won't pretend to understand the technical development stuff. That is much more in Arman and those sort of people's area. But what I can do is set up the right spaces, the right forums, the right discussions, the right community calls, everything in that field I'm here for. So feel free to ask me questions anytime in the channels. I have created a feedback ideas forum as well, which you should be able to see and post in. That can be anything from Discord improvements or technical ideas that you want us to explore, anything like that. There's also a ticket system for getting in direct contact with the team, so you're not spamming the channels. There's all sorts. I'm open to everything, and yeah, we're all about building together. So definitely don't be afraid to ask questions and have a voice.
Great, thanks, Mark. And let me just touch on the token. So we're thinking of launching a token. Yes, we are. And we're basically doing a Fjord LBP in the next couple weeks or so. And then after the conclusion of that, we'd be launching the token on Uniswap. And just to touch on the token and our thoughts on that. So the idea to, the decision to do a token was a very deliberate decision for several reasons. We looked at all the different fundraising routes we could go. Some of us have VC experience, and it's not an experience we enjoyed, to be honest. The VC fundraising experience, as some of you probably are aware, it's slow, it's tedious, it's just nonsense. And so and given the nature of what we're building, we wanted to bring a more of a community aspect into this. And so that's where the idea of the token came in. And so the thinking around the token is we're not going to create, so what we're not going to do is create some smoke and mirrors maze of utility that has a bunch of complicated buzzwords so it fits some narrative. That is not what we're going to do. So sorry to bust anyone's bubble if that's what you were hoping for. We see the token as a few things. It enables us, one, to fundraise and fundraise quickly and much more efficiently than we could in the traditional environment. And it also enables us to leverage a holder base of engaged people who have a vested interest in what we're doing and what we're building. And we can, with that, we can align incentives and work together on something because we're all working towards the same goal. And a token uniquely has the ability to build a large community of vested people around what you're building. So that can manifest in helping spread awareness, like, right? What enables a platform or a product to succeed? It's users and awareness. And I know as a small statistics, I think two-sided marketplaces, which is essentially what we are, they spend north of 60% of their budgets on user acquisition. So if we can already have tens of thousands of people looking at us, engage with us, and working with us, we can take care of a lot of that already and basically have a ready-to-go platform with the user side and demand side filled from the get-go. And that is obviously a huge factor and key to success here. And it also gives the ability for us to, subsidize user acquisition, create incentive schemes, reward programs, and subsidize costs as well within the platform. So we can perhaps compete with other platforms as well who may be trying to undercut on pricing and things of that nature. So and this all comes together as we see this as, many things in life are a transaction. And we see this maybe it's a bit cold to say, but we see this in a bit of a similar way that, what are we getting from this? We're getting user acquisition. We're getting a community who can help us with beta testing and being our first users. They're helping us with marketing. They're helping us with fundraising. And that is what we're getting from the token. And as we feel a responsibility to then deliver something to the people who make that happen, to the token holders who enable this to happen. And so we've been looking through different ways we can then achieve that. On the original white paper, which was written many months ago, the main sort of utility function there is revenue sharing. One, we've been advised by our lawyers that it's not a route we want to go down. So we've been thinking, how do we best accrue value to the token? Because that's what you guys want, and that's what we want to and will deliver on. Because you guys are helping us with certain things, and we are going to deliver that to you as well. And basically, what we've come up with is the most tried and tested way to deliver value and have value accrue to a token is essentially a buyback and burn mechanism. And what a buyback and burn mechanism really is it enables the token holders or the token, so essentially the token holders to share in the upside of the platform growth. Because as our platform scales and the amount of volume and number of transactions on our platform scales, so does the equivalent buyback and burn. And that is something, it's not complicated. It's not smoke and mirrors. It's a very simple yet effective way to achieve that. And when you think about decentralization and what is the promise of Web3, moving from these Web2 economies to the Web3 economies, what does it really mean? And what are the key pillars in that? And essentially, one of the biggest ones, decentralization is being like tamper resistant, censorship resistant. But one of the other key things that it comes down to is having the users and the participants and stakeholders of that platform share in the upside. And that is something that we are going to really drive home and enable in the most transparent way we can without creating, again, some just nonsense nonsense maze of utility, which I'm sure you guys are way too familiar with and tired of. And that is where we want to do something different. And that is essentially my answer there. So we've been talking a lot, and we're just run over time. A couple of us have to jump for some other calls. So thank you all for coming here and engaging. I think we're so excited. Glad to finally be out in the open, and yeah, I mean, we really can't wait to do more of these and really start to get something special going. And I think we really can create something special here. So I guess I'll sort of leave it with that. Oh, just a quick shout out to David and Thomas, who are in the audience as well. They are so the first two people who joined our team. They joined us at a very early and risky stage when no one knew anything about us. We had a simple website that I built and a white paper, and they've been instrumental, and they've been working so hard, and we're so grateful to have them on. They're our first UI UX designer and our first full stack dev. So yeah, as we conclude this, we will be publishing our team page on the website later tonight. So we'll post an announcement about that when that's up. So you guys can all feel free to go and stalk us to your heart's content and make sure we're not a bunch of bullshitters. So with that, I guess I'll end here.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks,
All right,
everyone.
have a great day, evening, wherever you are. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.